I was setting up my house and tried to move in as soon as possible, so I left many tasks that seemed unimportant to me for my future self, and one of those tasks was installing the snow guards. During our first winter in the house, I realized how essential this is. I couldn't capture the snow sliding off on camera, so you'll have to trust me. It's really scary, both inside and outside. Inside, you can really feel the whole house shaking, and not only can it wake you up in the middle of the night, but such vibrations over decades of use definitely won't add to the house's longevity. Outside, it's all pretty straightforward.
Don't go there, come here instead, or the snow will fall on your head and you'll be dead for sure!
If I have a self-preservation instinct, a small child doesn't, and when a child plays under the edge of the roof in winter, they can easily get buried by snow, completely buried. I have 134 meters of roofing, and the standard snow load for my region is 150 kilograms per square meter, so each slope can have up to 10 tons of snow on it.
I've been in a good mood since this morning, humming a song about what I'm doing.
Even if they don't fall on anyone's head, it's still not very good because a huge dense snowdrift forms in that spot, and it just doesn't want to melt at all. And to continue the work last spring, I had to shovel it away myself. Finally, I got around to it and bought a ready-made kit that includes pipes, brackets, and everything needed for a reliable installation. Since the metal tile roofing has a height difference, I put 2 ceiling rubber gaskets on one side and one on the other to create a gap between the roof and the bracket. This way it will last longer. I drilled a hole under the canister. I drilled holes and attached the bracket to the battens using rubber gaskets. I installed the bracket first on one edge, then on the opposite side to accurately measure the resulting distance and evenly distribute the brackets. I decided to place them in every 5th wave. In areas with heavier snow loads, it feels like they should be placed closer together. Near the terrace, it was convenient to work with a ladder, and the gutter was helpful for holding tools. I bought the snow guards as separate sets with 2 pipes and 2 brackets each. That seemed more convenient to me, since it wasn't clear at first how many would be needed. To help you understand, use the included instructions. After installing some brackets, I inserted the pipes into the holes. I slid one pipe into the other and fastened them together with a small self-tapping screw with a drill tip so I wouldn't have to drill extra holes. And once again, I'll clearly show the difference between good screws and cheap ones. This is how they behave after the 3rd year. The good screws are Daxmer, and these are some cheap ones from a marketplace, just whatever was available. I didn't have enough from the initial purchase, so I had to buy a few more. And their rubber gasket is about 3 times smaller than these, and the coating itself is already in this kind of bad condition. But with these, it's like they were screwed in just yesterday, nothing happened to them. Don't skimp on building materials. The cheapest option will have a bad appearance and a short lifespan. Then you'll have to redo it, and the one who does it properly from the start will actually save money. I didn't buy the cheapest snow guards. Here, the metal thickness is decent and the polymer coating is a decent thickness. Let's see how they perform. At the edge of the roof, the pipes were sticking out too much, so I just cut off the necessary part with an angle grinder. Then I moved to the porch area and did the same thing in the same order. I didn't use a string line for the bracket, just used the metal tile wave as a guide, and for marking the hole location, the pre-made hole in the bracket helped out. O, podberezovik. The job turned out to be easier than I thought. One of the reasons I kept putting it off for so long was because I thought I wouldn't be able to handle it alone, especially from a ladder. The task is to install the snow guard brackets not at the edge of the roof, but on the part of the roof directly above the wall. Otherwise, there could be too much load on the overhang and it could end badly. On the porch terrace, I installed brackets above a beam. They were right on the 2nd wave, and with the low height, it was very comfortable to work. The higher sections required installing the brackets even farther from the beam. Working on the third wave and even just doing the job felt risky, not to mention filming it. But in the end I managed to do everything, and this is how the snow guards survived the winter. This is how the snow guards work during a thaw. That is, they don't let it slide off completely and only builds up to their height. It turns out that they just melt there into the gutter, and as for the water, it just flows out onto the street. Last time I miscalculated a little apparently and bought it so that I was a bit short on pipe, and here these parts were left and you can see what happened to them. So the recommendation is not to stick this pipe out too far because the snow just bent it. And on that side too, apparently most of it somehow slid down along this little triangle. That's why I bought 2 more pipes, and now I'm going to finish and redo all of this. Same goes for the gutter. I cleaned it. That's the downside when trees like birch are close to the house. Stuff is always falling from them. I cleaned the gutter in the fall because it got clogged, and now I'll have to clean the gutter again. Just scoop all of this out by hand, put it in a pile somewhere, maybe in a bucket, and throw it away. It's really interesting which of the ants decided to make a nest in the gutter. How have these creatures survived for 100 million years? On the opposite side, from the roof to the nearest tree, it's 20 meters and the gutter is completely clean. There's really nothing to clean here. The brackets are all fine, the pipes are all fine, nothing has fallen off, chipped or broken anywhere. Everything is fine. On this part, there are 2 pipes here. They were cut off with an angle grinder because they were, well, sticking out too far. They're small, and these parts here started to rust, but they'll take a very long time to rust. I think it'll last until the end of this roof's life. And I'd also like to add something about the drainage. I deliberately made it wrong. In the correct version, it should have looked like this one. One pipe runs along the post and the other along the opposite corner of the house. It's harder to install that way and, in my opinion, not as aesthetically pleasing. Plus, this spot where the metal is cut at an angle, I checked the original Dom Semi project and there's no gutter there at all, but I would like to have one. So, as a true DIY builder, I put together a bit of creative handiwork, and I'm glad that after a year, everything is still fine. The gutter fully serves its purpose, as it is just as useful as the snow guards. The only place where it leaks is right here. I need to somehow seal it inside with Delta type tape, and the leak should stop. And since I changed the configuration of the terrace, making it lower and with 1 step instead of 2, the pipe outlets ended up being too high. And during light rain everything was fine, but during a heavy downpour, not a single drop made it into the rainwater inlet, so the outlets needed to be lowered. I had 2 extra pipes left after installation, and on the terrace side, I replaced 2 cut pipes with 2 longer ones. For the porch, I didn't have any pipes left, so I just bought 2 couplings to extend the existing pipes. On the other side, the downspout also needs to be lowered now. By the way, that's from Ilya. When are the videos coming out? Why does it take so long for all these little things around the house to pile up, and it's not really clear when to do them? The steps were also just set in place with clips, not screwed in. They were standing and holding up fine, so it seemed okay. Now I've screwed in the brackets to secure them and finish the job properly. It's not fully painted here or there, but you can't see that in the video. People wrote to me saying that I used regular screws for the joists and everything else. Well, here are the screws. A year has passed and people said it would all fall apart, but nothing seems to be falling apart. You can see some traces of water exposure here. Well, I don't know how many years it would take for this self-tapping screw to rust out. Maybe decades, because as far as I understand, they're supposed to be galvanized or something like that. So everything's fine. I'll finish the step now and then get to the gutter. I was already thinking that St. Petersburg was broken. I waited a week just to show that the gutter drains into the rainwater inlet. During some really heavy downpour, it'll probably still throw the water farther away anyway. But it's definitely a lot better than it was. Ideally, of course, this point should be lowered right here to make sure everything is perfect, but I'd have to build some kind of contraption here, so I'll consider this option acceptable and leave it as is. I promise to show you the temperature. The terrace temperature in summer in the sun measured with a thermal imager, so it's not just hot or cold, but exact degrees Celsius. It's 61 degrees on the surface right now. It's midday, it's 25 degrees outside, and the sun has been shining on it all day. And, well, yeah, it's actually really hot, and with socks I can stand here, it's fine, everything's okay. With socks, it's fine. It's impossible to stand barefoot, it's even painful. It's really hot, but to be fair, this is natural wood that's been painted. Natural painted wood is 2 degrees cooler, 59. We literally turn the corner where the sun doesn't shine, and here the temperature is already 26 to 27 degrees. The farther it is from the sun, the closer it is to the air temperature, and right here it's already the same as the air. So if you make the canopy so that there's shade here, it won't heat up, everything will be fine. And it turns out that my porch is always at the outdoor temperature, it never heats up, you can walk on it barefoot without any problems. And here's the most interesting part, this is the surface of unpainted wood. Here it is, just regular wood.
45.
45, 48 even right here. And I also got a new gadget, this turbo blower. It's a battery-powered blower from Makita. It's much more convenient and effective for cleaning the pavement, terrace, or porch of dry grass and leaves, and it's faster than sweeping with a broom. I had a small outlet-powered blower that was helpful on the construction side, but managing extension cords was inconvenient. I've always wanted a battery-powered one. You can use it to clear snow from your car and quickly blow on coals in the grill. At first you may wonder why you need it, but once you have it, you'll wonder how you lived without it. The number of uses is limited only by your imagination. For informational purposes, I'll leave a link in the description to a more detailed video review. I bought snow guards of average quality, not the cheapest, not the most expensive, and spent 12,000 rubles. Grand Line ones would have cost twice as much, but the metal is thicker and the coating might be better. Overall, this year showed that it's not the same story as with the cheapest self-tapping screws, so it should be fine. I wanted to cut corners, like people suggested in the comments, and only install them above the terrace and the porch, but during the process I realized that it wouldn't have the same effect at all, and that I needed to install them along all the slopes. On this side of the house I got a bit scared back then. It's pretty far out there, I don't know, maybe the ladder was set up differently or something. I installed them here not right above the wall, but a little bit closer, but overall there are just small pieces of roof here. So I did it at my own risk, but everything turned out fine, nothing went wrong, nothing moved. Man, I'm really afraid of these ladders, seriously. I even fell here twice, the second time just didn't get caught on camera. And I have a friend who used to work cleaning snow off roofs in the winter. And there was some kind of awning like at the entrance, so the height was even lower than here, and he fell and broke his spine. So you really have to be careful with ladders. And it's better to get snow guards and gutters installed during the roofing stage, because later on they might never get put in, and these are really important things that weren't invented for nothing. It's definitely better to have them than not. At first I thought that snow guards on the roof were needed so that the sliding snow wouldn't break the gutter. But during the installation of the gutter, I found out that if the gutter is installed correctly, the snow slides past it and never breaks it. And the main purpose of snow guards is to ensure that snow comes down in small portions, which is necessary to protect our lives and health. My roof has a slope of 26 degrees, which is a bit of an odd angle because, for example, some neighbors have outbuildings with a much steeper slope, and there the snow just stays on the roof. It doesn't want to slide off at all, and at my parents' house the roof had a 45-degree slope and the snow didn't stay there either. So basically it doesn't accumulate there, so there's nothing much to slide off. As soon as it fell, it slid off, and overall there were never any big snow slides on it. But in my case, even without snow guards, this kind of snow buildup would accumulate. a snowdrift on the roof, and then all at once it would reach this critical point. When there's too much of it and all those 10 tons start sliding off the roof, it's actually a really scary thing when you're nearby. I noticed passers-by staring here when the snow was coming down. Everyone would turn around with eyes wide open like this. I've observed what happens with snow guards, and it turns out that the snow doesn't really pile up much, just a bit more than without them. And through these two gaps between the pipes, the snow slowly slides off, so there's no snowdrift, nothing falls on your head, everything really becomes safer, and honestly it's just more comfortable to live this way. Honestly, there are days when you just don't want to do anything, you just want to sit in a chair, sip some tea, listen to the birds singing, enjoy everything that's happening here, catch a fish for the cat with a fishing rod, and just enjoy life. Because, well, living in your own house is just an incredible pleasure. I still need to finish the base of the house, and now the stairs. I'm waiting for the delivery, can't wait. I've bought paint and varnish materials, I'm sorting out the issues with the attic windows, they should arrive soon, and then I'll continue the final finishing of the attic so it can be turned into habitable rooms. So, in the near future, there will be more videos specifically about the work. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss them, and see you in the next video.